ceREAL talks, ceREAL talks, ceREAL talks. Maybe one day we should do a different show and we'll call it Donut Talks. Maybe another day we should do a different show and we'll call it My Favorite Muffin Talks.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching ceREAL Talks. We are here today and we have a hot topic.
Hot topic. Bam, 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 bam. Hot topic.
Now, here's the deal. If you're watching this, I want to let you know as a disclaimer that this is it's kind of a graphic topic. It is one that if you are younger, you may want to either watch this with your parents or not watch it. Just letting you know, we are going to be talking about the topic of abortion, the Texas state law, and just abortion in general. And it's a little bit intense. And we talk about some mature things. And so I want to encourage you, if you're not ready for this topic, if you're not ready to, and you're not old enough, do it. Talk to your parents about it before you watch it.
Yeah.
But we're going to jump into this thing because it's happening, it matters, and it is influencing the way you think as a young person, as a Christian. So we want to talk about it.
Let's do it! But first,
do it.
I have something to present.
But first,
do you have online activity? Get a VPN. I'm kidding. I love you, Ben Shapiro.
Ben bought the cereal today. I don't know what that means for us. I'm a little nervous.
Here we go. You have two choices, good sir. Keep your eyes closed.
You've got a choice to make.
Oh, come on, autofocus.
Oh.
You have Dunkin' Donuts Caramel Macchiato cereal.
That sounds horrible.
Or you've got Oreo O's.
You guys, y'all see the kind of cereal I buy, right? Life, honeycombs, honey oats. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing honey. I mean, it may not be actual natural in there, but at least it makes it seem like it's a natural. He wants to get caramel macchiato.
I bought coffee creamer instead of milk. Just kidding.
I was confused because it looked like coffee creamer, but it said milk, and I was like, ugh.
And I, of course, got myself Reese's Puffs.
No Lil Yachty.
No, I know he's done. That sponsorship is over.
He had a run. Dude, I don't even know which one of these to eat.
Oh, okay. And the reason I got two is because they were buy one, get one free. And there was only like two of them left because I think nobody's been buying these.
We have a game. Ben has no idea what it is. Basically, it is a game / just fun thing of acting. Now, what you guys may not know is that Ben is a phenomenal actor. He really is. Ben got started in video, not by filming, but by acting. And maybe one day we'll show you some old videos of Ben acting. Maybe I'll show you a quick clip even here.
I don't know if he understands completely yet, just about how important cartoons are to the culture, but he will. Don't worry, he will.
So anyway, what's going to happen is we are going to draw out a scene that we have to act out, or a concept we have to act out, and it's either going to be like, depending on what it is, it'll be like whoever breaks first and isn't able to keep it going, or whatever. So, I'm going to draw out of this. Dude, I've been so excited about this. One contestant sings their troubles to a pastor who sings back advice. Who do you want to be? Pastor or troubled person?
Troubled.
Alright.
When I was on my way to work, I got a flat tire. The guy from AAA laughed at me. He said I was a total loser for not knowing how to change my tire. And then my battery died. and also my dog. And then I asked the Lord for help, and he told me to sing to you, and you would sing back to me.
Have you ever thought of just riding a bike? Have you ever thought of just buying a bird? Because when a bird dies, it's not so bad. Do you know why? Because you can't walk a bird, you can only fly it up in the sky. And if you wanted to walk it, it'd be hard to try. He'd just be bouncing around, singing a song, and then you'd be angry as you go along. But when you get a bird, you just keep him in a cage. And when you look it will take away your rage. Just buy a bird.
In case you guys didn't know, Josh is incredibly good at flowing in random songs.
So in this one, we have to have a conversation,
Okay.
but the sentence has to start with the next letter of the alphabet.
Oh.
So if I start, it has to start with A. Your response has to start with B. My response has to start with C. You feel me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you feeling well today?
Can't really tell.
You left B out.
Alright. Alright. Run it back.
Aardvarks! Those are cool animals.
But lions, I think, are a little better.
Can you stop trying to be better than me?
Don't you see that this is obvious? Lions are better than aardvarks.
Everyone knows that that could potentially be true.
Forget everyone else. We're talking about us here.
God created animals, so this is about him.
Have you asked him personally?
Eh.
I'm pretty sure that's an E.
Eh. E would be eh.
I'm gonna take it.
I will allow it.
Just because you think you're the smartest person in this room doesn't mean you're right.
Keep off my mojo, bro.
Look, I am sick and tired of how often you come in here getting me this kind of cereal to oppress my taste buds.
Mundane. Mundane. That's what your cereal eating habits have become.
No way. I have not thought about that. Thank you.
Oh!
No, I know what letter that was.
Okay.
Please. Your shouting and loud noises is rupturing my earbuds.
Question.
Hmm?
That's it.
Really? That's how you're going to leave that off?
Seriously.
Today is not the day for this, babe. It's not the day.
Underwear is something that's important to wear, because if you don't, I imagine it would be uncomfortable.
Very gross. That's all I'm saying. No reason to bring up undergarments in this conversation.
What can I say?
Xylophone? Xenophobia? You could say anything.
Yeah, I could, but I said underwear.
Zorro would say the same thing if he was required to wear them. But he's not, because he's Zorro.
That was good. Wait, we didn't use... Okay.
Alright. We're going to jump into this abortion topic. And it is extremely important because if you are a Christian teenager, it is important for you to know how the Bible views this topic.
Yeah.
Because we need to live our life based off of what the Bible says and not based off of what society says or clever arguments that they come up with. Which, to be completely honest, I don't feel like they're very clever, and I don't feel like they're very thought through.
No.
It's basically just a giant push that says, let me do what I want. So,
I deserve this. I should be able to do what I want. Which is
so first
a
of
terrible way
all,
to look at things.
it really is. So what started this conversation up again, it's always been a thing, but what started up again was Texas passed a law called the heartbeat law, where if a woman is, if there's a heartbeat detected in a baby, which is around 6 weeks is when they get the heartbeat, they can no longer have an abortion. Now, the interesting thing about it, which I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I mean, it's the way they did it, is that a private citizen can sue an abortion clinic or a person who performed an abortion if they find out they did it after that point.
Yeah.
Now, the woman does not get sued. The woman does not get in trouble. It is the person who performed the abortion. It's like a minimum of $10,000, but it's basically stated as however much is necessary to basically deter them from doing it again.
Yeah.
And they have to pay the legal fees, blah, 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 blah. So, on one side, it's like a private citizen is basically looking out for somebody, a organization who's breaking the law. So, if you had somebody who was doing child labor, forced child labor, and you found out that they were doing that, and you reported them,
Yeah.
it'd be the same kind of concept, only like in those normal cases, the city would sue them, but in this case, a individual is suing them, and so people are.
So it's enabling people to like go after these doctors if they want to.
Right. So that's what brought all this up, and so people are in outrage.
Yeah.
People are upset. Apparently, the days leading up to the law going into effect, there was just a flood of people going to get abortions, which is horrible. Now you may be going, I don't understand, because there's such a push in one direction.
Yeah.
That abortion is healthcare. What was that one you saw? Abortions.
Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm gonna look at.
Let's look at some things that we have seen.
I gotta find this picture. It was crazy. Abortion, anytime, any reason.
Anytime, any reason. It's on a cake.
Yeah.
It's on a cake. And so you may have heard of this as healthcare, as women's rights, women's choice, right? My body, my choice. You probably hear that. And so the question then becomes, as a Christian, how should we perceive this?
Yeah.
Okay? Not as a person who thinks like the world doesn't, but how does God perceive it? How does it see?
Yeah.
How should a Christian look at it? Here are some things that they say, and I feel like some answers to their questions. My body, my choice. Let's start out with that one. I feel like that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
My body, my choice. What do you feel like is wrong with that statement?
Where I take issue with it is that it's not actually your body. It's a separate.
No. It's in your body, so it's your body.
Okay.
So if I ate you, you are now me.
Does that mean I'm part cow from the burger I had yesterday?
Yes, you are. That burger is you.
Burger.
It's in you.
Burger me. So yeah, it's people say my body, my choice, but it's not actually your body.
I think
It's a
that's the only
separate
argument you need.
It's a separate living human being.
Yeah, like it's not your DNA. It's not your thoughts.
They might
It's
have
not
a different blood type
They can have
than
a
you.
different blood type. That is not them.
Yeah.
So you can't have it one way and not another. So
Yeah.
they'll be like, so basically if a woman were to be pregnant, want her baby, and to be murdered and the baby dies, the person can be charged as a double homicide.
Yeah. The person who murdered, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. It's like, wait a minute, so you're going to count it as two different people now, but if they abort the baby, it's not, because...
So then all of a sudden, the life only has value if it's wanted.
Exactly.
Because they wanted their baby versus someone else not, which is not at all correct.
Well, no, because then you take that outside of the womb,
Yeah.
and what if all of a sudden a woman doesn't want her baby that she's already had?
Yeah, where do we go from there?
Can she kill that? Right? And so...
But of course, people would think that's horrible and the worst thing ever because it's a human baby they can see. But I'm like, it's in someone. It's growing inside of a woman.
The only difference is location.
Yeah, it's still a human life.
Yeah.
It's still a person.
Yeah. The only difference is location. It's in her, it's out of her.
Yeah.
Same thing, same person, different development state.
Yep.
But it's still the same baby.
There's a lot of people there's this argument when people are pro-choice. They say, when does something have moral value? Mm-hmm. And what moral value is they try to assign a point within a woman's pregnancy of when the baby is actually a human. And the problem is if you start drawing those lines, you start affecting things of people who've already been born. So if you say, well, the baby's not a human till it has a heartbeat. Like, what about someone with a pacemaker? Are they now not human? Or they say, till you have brain function. What about someone in a coma? They have maybe the potential to wake up, but they might not. So is that person then not valuable and we should kill them?
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. The only line that makes sense is life begins at conception. Because if you try to draw other lines somewhere in there, it just gets crazy because then there's people who are walking the earth who they can't provide for themselves. They can't live on their own.
Right.
I mean, if I take a pacemaker out of someone, they will die. If I take someone in a coma on life support and take that life support away, they will die.
If you stop feeding a 3-month-old, they will die.
Yeah.
Like there's...
Dude, sometimes my 5-year-old, if I don't feed him, I'm like, do you know how to get food? I mean, he'd probably eat chips.
Yeah. So, what about this one? What about it's women's rights? It's affecting women's rights. What right are we talking about?
The right to kill someone?
Yeah,
the right to stop something that's inconvenient?
But see, here's where it comes down to it. People want to do what they want. Don't tell me not to have sex. Don't tell me not to do this.
Tell me this.
Because I want to do what I want to do, and I want no consequences for it.
And and life is consequences.
Life is consequences.
Everything you do, like today, I'm driving to work. If I speed, and I could get pulled over, and that's my consequence. It's to say that you don't want to have the consequences for an action is just it's stupid because you're always going to have a consequence.
I realize that this is for an older crowd and probably older teenagers and whatnot, and that's fine. You're the ones who need to hear this anyway because you're the ones who are going to have to make this decision on what you are going to do with your body that could affect somebody else's body, namely a baby.
Yeah.
I know people who have gotten pregnant in high school. I know girls who have gotten pregnant in high school and chose to keep their baby because they knew the value of that baby. And did it make their life harder? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do they have to readjust their life? Yes. But you know what our church did and the people in our church? We have rallied around these people. Love these people. Care for them. Help them. All that kind of stuff. Because we understand that you make mistakes.
Yeah.
You mess up. And that could happen. Now,
we also understand that God can take any situation and turn it for good.
Yes.
So even though it's like, oh my gosh, I've got this baby now, that's
a beautiful thing.
That's your kid.
Yes.
That's the person you get to raise. You get to bring them to church. You get to have memories. You get to have...
They get to know Jesus. They get to change the world, whatever.
But people just automatically think, this is inconvenient.
Now, back to the women's rights thing, I would say, number one, the right to what? The right to have a job. They have all these rights, but sometimes when you make a choice and that choice will affect other things that you're able to do, whether you're a man or a woman. I do believe, and I realize people are like, well, what about the men who got her pregnant? They need to pay child support.
Yeah.
They need to, if it affects her,
they need
it needs to affect them.
They need to be there.
Exactly. If it was a high school guy and a high school girl, now the high school girl and her parents are having to raise this kid, that high school boy and his parents need to be
just as involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm saying that should be happening. Now, what about the rights of that little girl that's getting aborted?
Yeah.
That little baby that's getting aborted. What about her rights? See, the problem is that we have told people they can do whatever they want, and when the consequences happen, we try to get them out of the consequences.
Yeah.
So we say, oh yeah, we do sex ed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is how you have safe sex, and everybody's gonna have sex anyway. You might as well just teach them how to do it safely. No, why not teach them that you're not an animal.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have sex
You can
until you
control
decide that it's time to have sex, and you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop treating people like they're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not stupid.
They're not animals. They have self-control. They have the ability to
say no.
To stop.
They have the ability to.
I mean, I remember being a teenager. There is that feeling of like, man, I'm here with my girlfriend. I want to do this, do that, but it's like, me and my wife didn't have sex till we got married.
It's possible.
It's extremely possible. Josh and Leanna didn't have sex till they got married.
It's possible.
And it's how God designed it.
Yes. Here's an argument that I heard that was well worded but stupid.
Ooh,
all right?
Read it in a snooty voice.
Last night I was in a debate about these new abortion laws being passed in red states. My son stepped in with this comment, which was a showstopper. Stop the show!
Oh my gosh. Did they pause it or was it a live show?
Oh, it was a live show.
Oh my gosh.
One of the best explanations I have read. Reasonable people can disagree about when a zygote becomes a human life. That's a philosophical question. However, regardless of whether or not one believes a fetus, now let's point this out, changing the term from fetus to baby, from baby to fetus, allows you to emotionally disconnect from what you're doing. So if I change the words, then it allows me to change how I feel about it.
Yep.
I didn't kill a baby, I killed a fetus.
Yeah.
All right? It's ethically equivalent to an adult. Okay, whether or not one believes a fetus is ethically equivalent to an adult, it doesn't obligate a mother to sacrifice her body autonomy for another, innocent or not. So basically saying, whether a baby, a fetus, and a mom is at the same level of adult morally, like Ben was saying, at what point you put that moral right to kill it or not.
Yeah.
Wherever you put that line, doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that a mom has to carry the baby because it affects her body. That makes sense? Just because, whether you say it has it or not, it doesn't obligate her to carry it. Body autonomy is a critical component of the right to privacy protected by the Constitution. Roe versus Wade, Consider a scenario where you are a perfect bone marrow match for a child with severe aplastic anemia. No other person on earth is a close enough match to save the child's life, and the child will certainly die without a bone marrow transplant from you. If you decided that you did not want to donate your marrow to save the child, for whatever reason, the state cannot demand the use of any part of your body for something to which you do not consent. It doesn't matter if the procedure required to be complete the donation is trivial, or if the rationale for refusing is flimsy or arbitrary. Meaning, it doesn't matter what your reason for not wanting to do it. You could be like, oh, I'm busy that day, and it doesn't matter. Or you could be like, I just don't want to give my bone marrow and go through that process. It doesn't matter how big or small the excuse is, then you can't. They can't make you do it. Right? This right is even extended to a person's body after they die. Nobody can make you use your body as an organ donor. That's the law. Use of a woman's uterus to save a life is no different from the use of her bone marrow to save a life. It must be offered voluntarily. By all means, profess your belief that providing one's uterus to save the child is morally just, and refusing is morally wrong. That is a defensible... Yes. So,
Wait, so the uterus is there to save the child's life. The child wouldn't be in there if you hadn't made the choice to have sex to then have a child in there.
Right. So they're saying...
What?
So they're saying that the mom has to give consent to save the child's life by allowing it to use her uterus.
That is dumb!
I was like...
That's dumb!
Do you understand? Okay. Teens, hear me. This is why critical thinking is important. That sounds smart. Oh yeah, if they can't make you use bone marrow, why should they be able to make you use your uterus?
The baby didn't make you use the uterus.
You put it in there. Now, here's the deal.
Deep breaths.
Here's the deal. You cannot compare apples and butterflies and act like you can make a honest
A butter apple?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And an honest comparison, okay? What they are saying is that the only thing that keeps somebody else alive is the choice not to kill them. So right now, the only reason I am keeping Ben safe by not killing him right now.
Thank you. That's very kind
You're
of you.
welcome. Every person a serial killer doesn't kill, he's saving their life.
And that is an extremely incorrect way to think about things.
That's literally what they're saying. The only reason that the uterus is being used is to save the child's life. That's not why it's being used. This is the way that it is developing. It is going in a certain direction. And the mom is taking away its life, not giving it life. It already has life. It already has life. You are taking it, not giving it.
I would just like to thank all the people as I was driving to work today that chose not to hit me while I was driving.
Hey man, thanks for saving my life today.
I'm extremely...
This is a world full of heroes right here.
Extremely grateful.
Okay.
I would like
Ben,
I would like to thank that feral cat for not ripping my trachea out.
Ben,
so
I see you have some notes here. What are some things you want to point out before we get into what the Bible talks about?
I just wanted to talk really quickly about convenience, like the idea that we can kill something because it's not convenient to us.
And then you jump into, well, what about, rape victims? What about, incest and things like that? And the reality is that that is 1% of the situation.
It's probably less than 1% of
the
situation.
Less than 1% of when that happens. And so what they do is they make an argument for this less than 1% in order to make all of this okay. And listen,
the majority of abortions are done for convenience.
Yes.
They're not done to save the mother's life because of some medical thing. They're not done because of rape, because of incest, because of any of that. It's convenience.
It is convenience.
Hence the picture of the lady I found that says she has a shirt that says, I've had 21 abortions.
Yeah, like
that's outrageous.
She was not raped 21 times.
Yeah.
Like, and you may be going, well, what about those? And I would say this, one wrong thing, and I realize that I'm not the one who has to care for the baby, and sometimes hard things happen, like if a loved one gets sick, right? Let's just say a loved one gets cancer, and all of a sudden you have to care for this loved one, and it was not your choice or their choice to get cancer. And now you have hospital bills, and you have this, that, and the other. One bad thing does not mean another bad thing gets to happen. So just because they're dealing with this and I have to take care of them, doesn't mean I get to kill them because now life is hard. Sometimes hard things happen in life. So I kill this person because somebody did something to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's fair.
No. Life is never fair.
And I'm not saying what they did is right. I'm not saying, but what I'm saying is we can't say I get to kill a human life because somebody did this to me. And it's hard, and I hope that if that does happen to you, that you would have a support system and a church and parents and family that would gather around you and that baby and love you and help you walk through a very hard season. But I know somebody personally who had a baby from being raped. And she had the baby, loved it, cared for it, and they're a full-grown adult now, and but it didn't happen the way she would have wanted. But it didn't stop her from knowing that baby was a human.
And God can take any situation, anything, and turn it for good.
So let's just go. What's the Bible's perspective on this? I'm going to put some verses up for you to see and for you to go and look for yourself because I want you to read it. But number one, you have to realize that God is a generational God.
Yeah.
God values and loves babies and kids and families. And it says that kids are a blessing to the one who has them. Mm-hmm. We don't think the way God does anymore. So we don't see kids as blessings. We see them as an inconvenience to our life. Guess what? My life is about something greater than just my convenience. It's about raising up the next generation.
Yep.
And that is what God is all about.
Preach.
Raising up the next generation. This young lady that I know who, and more than one, but has gotten pregnant as a high schooler. She understood that the next generation is important. So she had this baby and she's loving this baby and she's supported. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. God is passionate about the next generation. One of the things that Israel got in trouble for was worshiping the idol of Molech. And one of the reasons why was because how they would worship Molech is they would take their babies and they would offer him as the baby as a sacrifice to Molech. And they would get the statue, the idol, they would heat it, and they would put it in Molech's hands that were burning hot, and it would burn the baby to death.
That's horrendous.
And so as this baby is screaming, they're just worshiping and screaming and going, worshiping this idol of Molech as they're killing. And so God was like, this is an abomination. Killing your children is an abomination to me. Now, you may be watching this as a teenager. You may have had an abortion because it was going to be hard and it was going to change your life. And I get that. Like, I get the fear.
Yeah.
I understand, like, even as a dad in a stable home, a stable family, there was fear that went along with having a child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's even greater when you don't have all the things that we had to help raise this child. And I want to say that God loves you, God forgives you, and you do not have to live in shame. That baby, I believe, is in heaven.
Yeah.
And you will see them again one day, and God forgives you, and you don't have to walk around in shame and guilt. And I would say, ask God to give you peace. Ask God to just pour out his love on you. He loves you so much. There's no judgment here. Our goal is not to make you feel bad. Our goal is not to make other people feel bad. Our goal is to prevent people who end up in this situation from doing it, and to help you understand what God is saying. Here's another thing. Now, I realize that when they were sacrificing up those babies, that they were already out of the womb. But our point is that it's only locational.
Yeah.
In the womb, out of the womb. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? The devil, his way of stopping God's plan was to kill children.
Yeah.
When Jesus was born, Herod sent armies in there to kill the babies to stop Jesus from coming.
Yeah.
When Moses was born, Pharaoh's decree was that they were killing babies to keep them from... The devil wants to kill you.
Yeah.
Okay? Suicides are up. Depression is up. Mental disorders are up. Why? Because he wants to ruin you, take you out. Because you are what God is trying to do to take his plan to the next level, to spread his glory across the whole world. You are what God wants to use. Those babies are who God wants to use. And the devil is like, if I can take out the generations, I will stop God's stuff from happening. But you aren't going to let it happen. And here's the last thing. Kids are a blessing.
Yeah.
You are a blessing. We are not going to stop preaching this, teaching this, pushing this. Kids, teens, young people, in the mama's belly or out of the mama's belly.
Our blessing.
Are
And
a blessing.
even all the times that are difficult, because there are difficult times with kids.
Yes.
It's all worth it.
Yeah.
It's completely worth it.
Life. For every action, there's the equal opposite reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, if you're going to have sex, the chances are possible you could have a
The
baby.
chances go up like 100% versus if you don't.
Okay.
I don't know if that math made sense.
No.
It didn't.
Depending on if you're using...
Numbers are hard. 1 milk carton, 1 cereal.
You put them together.
You make
baby. here's our point. We're not trying to judge people, and we're not trying to make life hard on people. We're saying that you cannot take a human life because it's convenient or because it will make life hard. We are made in the image of God. That baby is an image bearer of God.
Yeah.
And we have to value what he values. And if we will devalue an innocent baby in the womb, we can devalue a person out of the womb if we only have the right excuse. So, think about that. We love you guys. Anything you want to say to finish up?
No.
All right.
That was it.
We love you guys. Hey, stay in the Word. Go use the app. Get in the devotional. Check out the 418 merch. Go get some. We love you guys. That's not 418 merch.
It's not.
All right.
I do have the 418 underwear on. I'm just kidding.
Bye.